Welcome to What It Takes. Today we're talking to Natalie Griffin and Amy Philpott, the dynamic co-founders of Gerry's Cafe. It's a nonprofit cafe in Arlington Heights, Illinois, and it's doing more than servicing amazing coffee and pastries. They're actually changing lives by employing adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities and fostering a sense of joy and inclusion in their community. We'll learn what it took to bring their vision to life, how they've built a grassroots movement that's creating extraordinary acceptance, and the lessons that they've learned along the way. So grab your favorite cup of coffee and let's dive in. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to hear what the inspiration is behind Gerry's Cafe and how that idea first came about with the two of you.
I am a former special ed teacher, and I worked with people with Down syndrome and cerebral palsy, autism, and all different disabilities. But I saw when I taught them, they had tremendous abilities. And I noticed a staggering statistic that 80% of these young people, after they graduate and leave school, 22 years and older, could not get employed. There just was no job opportunities for 80% of this population. And that just really struck me as being not fair. I saw that they had a lot of talent. They were trained in the schools and they were ready to work and they were eager and they were excited, but they had doors closed and doors closed and doors closed and just told no. I thought that I should act. I felt like I wanted to act. And I'm not a business person, so I did not have those skills and talents to do this by myself. It takes a team. It takes a great team to do something like this that is new and unique. So I did reach out to Amy Philpott, my co-founder, and asked her if she wanted to join in this journey to change lives and make a difference for people.
That's amazing. And yeah, like you said, I can't imagine that it was just, okay, great, I have this idea, and now we're here, this huge cafe, doing huge things. What were the biggest challenges in starting a nonprofit cafe, especially one with such a unique mission that you have?
I would say anytime, in an entrepreneurial essence or anything of that nature, you have an idea. And taking an idea and putting it into action and making it a reality, easier said than done. And I think when Natalie approached me with this idea, it's a great idea. It's an idea that needed to be really tackled in a way with a full press. We really had to attack it properly, knowing almost kind of beginning with the end in mind. What did we want to achieve? And ultimately, as we really worked through the idea, it was develop a non-for-profit corporation, really start forwards so that we could actually end up on our feet and be successful. So a little bit of the litigious stuff was no fun for Natalie. Natalie likes big ideas and is not a beacon of patience. She's like, let's do it now. Had we done that, we never would have been where we are today. So we really started the process of the non-for-profit, really building our name, Brewing Opportunities. That is our corporate name, as our non-for-profit. We worked really hard to name ourselves. So we worked hard at that. That was one of our biggest things we had to come up with, was what are we going to name ourselves as our DBA of the non-for-profit. And we came up with Gerry's Cafe. We named it after my aunt, Geraldine Waymer, who back in 1958 was born in the Chicagoland area. And my grandparents had no idea, but was born with Down syndrome. And within the first moments of her life, the medical professionals looked upon her and my grandparents with a sense of sadness and despair as like, oh no, Gerry is going to be a problem for your family, a hindrance. She's going to be a disruption. You should probably consider putting her in an institution. She's not going to live very long anyway. So just heavily discounted within the first moments of her life, which was, if you think about it, pretty tragic and sad. So we had a wonderful opportunity to name the cafe in Geraldine's memory. So Gerry's Cafe with a G. Gerry did live just before her, she passed away just before her 4th birthday, so she already beat the odds. And in the lifetime that she had with my grandparents in the family home, really changed the whole mindset of what a young person with a disability really had. She had a true ability to create joy, happiness, and really increase the level of intelligence of what it is to actually have such a special human being in your household.
What a story that is. And so many takeaways for me. One, begin with the end in mind.
Mhm.
Huge. And obviously paved the way for you guys. And two, it sounds like you guys chose wisely in your partnership. If one has one strength, Natalie, you're talking about getting things done and going forward, but she's also the visionary. She's has, that strength. And but it also sounds like you had to just, hey, well, let's stop and do things the right way, things that we need to do. And then the number three is sometimes what sounds like the most simple task can be one of the most daunting. And taking time to name yourself, coming up with that name sometimes can be, oh my goodness. And whether it's naming your business or one of the other things that you think somebody just did off the cuff is like, no, actually that was extreme. That was the hardest part of starting. So I think those three are really great tips right off the bat. But let's talk a little bit about building that grassroots movement that you have. How did you rally community support and raise the funds to actually open the cafe? It's one thing to have the idea. It's another thing to have somebody who can help execute it, but it's only going to be successful if you have that support and people to go there and people to buy into it, which sounds great from an idea standpoint. It's a whole different story when it comes to actually doing it. So let's talk a little bit about that.
We launched in 2018 as a new nonprofit, and we did right away have tremendous support from our local businesses. And Amy is a former business owner and a former Chamber of Commerce president. And so she had a lot of the connections with our local businesses. And we held a public event where we invited everyone to come in a cold December night in 2018 to come out and hear our idea. Basically, we launched an idea to a room full of people. I don't know, there was 200, 300 people there who listened to our story. A young man who I have known since he was born, he's a man with Down syndrome, has been looking for a job, and he spoke to the audience about how important it was for him to have a business that would be willing to hire him. And Amy and I shared our ideas about launching this business with a unique cafe in the town of Arlington Heights. And we really, from the very beginning, received tremendous support from local businesses and from the school districts and from the community itself. Overall, we were pleased with the start, but it continued for 5 years to keep working. If you want to share any.
We did. We had to fundraise. Every dollar, every $5 from everything that we did was truly grassroots. And what was super cool and amazing was all the people, in a sense, you do need a small army of volunteers to support you. And that's what we are built on. If we really look at the grassroots, it's the two of us are the co-founders, but we had an initial board of directors that came on. We followed all the rules and regulations of being the proper non-for-profit. But at the same time, it really took so many people to get behind us if they didn't have, the treasure, they had the time to help. And that's what we needed. We need the message, spread. So there was things from local flower sales to, donut trucks to in people's front yards to all these wild things, to art exhibits and bowling events. People just had fundraisers left and right. And we were on an amazing trajectory. And a local bank, a very large community bank here in the Chicagoland area, Wintrust, they are philanthropic and truly a heart center for Chicago. They got behind us and pretty much threw us a bit of a bone and said, hey, if your first $100,000 raised, we'll match it. And they did. And that was huge because that got us to 200, but we weren't done because we knew what we wanted to do with what we needed to raise our funds to build this quality cafe for our employees. And COVID hit, and our idea, we needed to back up while others were just trying to stay in business and stay afloat. So we got through that. We took the opportunity to create strategy teams to work, because Zoom came up and was awesome. So we built 9 strategy teams to really continue to do the work while we physically couldn't, get into our spaces and try to look. So we used that time during COVID to actually continue to grow ourselves. So when we did identify our location, we were ready to go as best as possible.
And we developed a strong board, getting the areas of expertise that we needed to guide us, legal guidance and HR guidance and all of those different areas, and really worked on developing that strong board to help support us. And they're all volunteers who really give their time and talent to the organization.
That's so inspiring. I'm so glad to hear that this is still going on in real communities, like this is real day-to-day life. So tell me, I'm interested to hear about the day-to-day, like your joys, your challenges. What does a typical day at Gerry's Cafe look like?
I will tell you the greatest joy, and that is stopping into the cafe and being greeted by our employees. We hired, trained, and employ currently for over 15 months now, 37 individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities in ages from 22 up to early 50s. And they are so proud of the jobs that they do at the cafe. So they greet with great joy and a smile, and they each individual has been trained in a certain area. So we have a barista and a cashier, a sandwich maker, salad maker, baker assistant, dishwasher, greeter, and all the different operational needs in a cafe. They are filled with those the employees with those jobs, and they're cross-training and learning other jobs. So they are really proud of themselves. So when I walk in and I see the joy that they express in working their job, and they greet you, "Hi, Natalie, welcome to Gerry's Cafe." And they greet all the customers, "Welcome to Gerry's Cafe. What can I get for you today?" That gives me great joy. And just to see that we are producing a really just awesome food, beverage, and it's all being served by adults with disabilities, and they are doing it proudly and doing it well. They are the shining stars of the cafe.
Well, yeah, let's stay there for a little bit. I'm sure when you think about, let's talk about impact, right? You've seen Gerry's Cafe positively impact the lives, I'm sure, of your employees. So we can certainly talk about that. I think that's what your mission was all about. That's what you set out to do. But I'd kind of go out on a limb to say this is impacting the broader community more than it could ever, and that's what we say whenever we're serving or anything like that. You talked about time and treasures or whatever. That's what we say in our community. You got time, talent, and treasure, right? Those are the 3 things that we can have to offer. But I'm sure with having something like this in the community, people are coming together with that. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I would say probably one of the best statements we heard early on, maybe within being open for the first 4 months, and we opened August 26th of 2023. No, 2024, right? No, 2023, sorry. All the years are, I know we're coming up on 2025 here, was when a customer comes in and they say, if every single person on the earth could walk into Gerry's Cafe, the world would be a different place. It's a pretty powerful statement. And one of the things that's so important is we live in a life of speed and fast and on our phones and everything's at our fingertips. What we're asking of our community to get that sense of a community, to have that reaction and statement by that one customer, was take a few extra minutes, park your car. We do not have a drive-through, step into the cafe. You will see well-trained, excited staff and employees ready to serve you. They're making everything themselves. This was not made in an offsite commissary, a month or 2 ago, frozen and being refreshed for you. If you put in your order for You know, a mocha, you're gonna get it. If you put in a order for a Big Ed panini, they're going to make it for you. They are crafting and producing it. So that right there is that deposit of time will be a redeposit into your heart, which will then, you will turn around and deposit that somewhere else in your day. And I think that's the biggest sense of community that we see when people give it that time. The redepositing back out into our greater environment is really where we're seeing a difference.
That's absolutely beautiful. What I want to talk about, because you said something that I think is really kind of the key to being successful, is that people still go in there expecting to eat or drink, right? You still have a business to run. So how do you balance that nonprofit side of it, where it's very clearly mission driven, while also having a business to run? How do you balance those challenges of running that while, you know, maintaining the integrity of the mission?
It's not easy. It is a challenge every day, and we are very dependent on our nonprofit fundraising to for our cafe sustainability. So right now, we are not profitable at the register with our sales revenue, but our mission is to provide job opportunities for people who have not had opportunities before. So we have, like I said, 37 employees with intellectual and developmental disabilities. A typical cafe probably would not hire that many individuals, and their payroll costs would be much lower than ours. So we are dependent on our nonprofit fundraising. We do work hard at it continually, in addition to working hard at increasing our sales revenue and the operations of the cafe. So I don't know if you want to expand on that.
Yeah, I think ultimately, when Gerry started and we created our mission, most business entities have their bobble. This is what I'm going to sell. These are my products I'm going to sell. Our entity is, we have two. It starts with our people. That is why we're here. We created Gerry's Cafe to create employment opportunities for our workforce, our identified workforce. But secondly, we did not want to be a pity stop. We wanted to offer craft food and beverage that is made by our employees at a value. So our prices are competitive with the big names that you know that would be comparatively speaking to our products. What's different is our human capital that is doing the work. So for me, I look at it as a democracy of our spending dollars. And we hope that folks, when they think of, hey, I got $7 or $8 to go out and get a pastry and a cup of coffee, we hope their muscle memory starts going to us. The little guy that's really trying to make a difference in our community. So yes, we need to make more money. There is no question. This is really where I drive it hard, being on the real heavy business side. It's what keeps me up at night. We want to grow our sales, and we are on our way to doing that. So, you know, really emphasizing to the people of our greater community, we want to be the destination. We want to be the first place you think of for a delicious cup of coffee, because our product is fantastic. And give us the time and chance, because I guess what? It's going to make a huge difference in your day, and it's going to make a huge difference for us, because we can continue to grow and hopefully try to open another one to make more impact towards our mission.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what I wanted to get from you guys, is what advice about what it takes, because that's what this podcast is called. What does it take? What advice would you give somebody about what it takes to someone who's maybe interested in starting on that mission-driven business like yours, whether it's nonprofit or not, but really kind of leading with, well, we did this for the people that we're going to hire to work for us, whereas most people do it for the customer, the end user, right? So this is a very unique mission. And I think that there are other unique missions out there. But what are some of the things that you've learned that you would say to these people about that?
I'll allow you to have some fun with this one.
Natalie
No.
gets to.
I was just gonna say, it's keep going. We have just kept going over hurdles, roadblocks, obstacles, and kept the faith that we could continue to strive toward our end goal, which is to just be a sustainable operating cafe, who continues to employ, who continues to serve great product, who continues to meet the customer's needs, but we have not stopped. We have not allowed obstacles to get in our way, and we kept believing in ourselves and our mission and our employees and our customers. That's the one thing I would say, but there's more.
There's a lot more, you know, you can have all the belief in the world, but
Yeah.
if you don't surround yourself with experts in their area, and we were lucky to have so many incredible volunteers that have supported us and people that have carried our flag for us. But together, it's all of us as a community. It's not just one person, it's not just two people. It's perseverance, as Natalie said, but at the same time, you need some luck. We've had some good fortune in terms of some bigger supporters of us, and we need more of those. I'm not gonna even sugarcoat it. We do need more of those. We are not near being profitable, so we have to fundraise. But for somebody that's out trying to do this, and even if it's not even on the nonprofit basis, if you're out looking to start your business, be realistic with your goals, be patient, do not force it. Have business partners or somebody that can look over your shoulder and say, oops, this is not a good idea here, red flag. You know, there's no for sures in the world, but if you could just put the right people in the right places to help you make good decisions. And then the rest is just grit, grit, grit.
That's
And
a word I use a lot in business owning. Absolutely. So surround yourself with good people who are going to hold you accountable, keep going, and then maybe with a little bit of luck and some community support, you'll be able to do what you set out to do. Natalie and Amy, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey with us today. It's inspiring to see how Gerry's Cafe is creating these opportunities, really spreading joy, making a difference in your community. And to our listeners, if you're ever near Arlington Heights, please make sure to stop by Gerry's Cafe for some great coffee, and it sounds like some even better company. And guys, where can they find you if they're looking for you?
We do have a website, and I would love for people to check out our website. You can learn more about us at gerryscafe.org, and it's Gerry's with a G. We also are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. You can look up Amy Philpott on LinkedIn. You can look up Natalie Griffin on LinkedIn, as well as Gerry's Cafe, and it's, again, Gerry's with a G.
Oh, thank you so much, ladies. And that's it for today's episode of What It Takes. If you've enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs a little bit of inspiration, because I've certainly had it today. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.